Hello and welcome to this video. This is a practicing with Cory video in which I sort of think out loud and explain to you what I'm working on now and how I go about working on it. It's not. I'm definitely not sight reading this piece. I've worked on it already. In fact, I'm ready to probably make a performance of it for YouTube. I have at the moment a I'm working on a 6-part tutorial series on this great piece on the Well-Rounded Pianist. You're invited to go right over to the Well-Rounded Pianist and subscribe. It is one of the largest sites of its kind in the world. I upload weekly tutorials on there that are not available on YouTube. So if you would like to learn piano from me with weekly new content, go to the Well-Rounded Pianist and you can subscribe to various levels there, membership levels. I'm working on a piece here that was recently brought to my attention by a piano student who I am teaching, Moon River by Henry Mancini. I've of course heard the song before. It's not something that I'm totally not familiar with, but my student brought to my attention the very beautiful arrangement by Mercuzio, or Mercuzio Pianist, as he's sometimes known on YouTube. A very prolific arranger from Italy. I don't know who this Mercuzio is. I don't think it's that important to really know who he is or what he looks like. I don't know. He's just some anonymous person. He does have a YouTube channel. He's an excellent pianist. Excellent classically trained pianist. He performs many of his own arrangements. A link below this video. You can click on that and go and download I think there's hundreds of at least 300, 400 maybe arrangements by Mercuzio. And Mercuzio arranges mostly movie music and popular songs and things that are music that is under copyright. So legally, according to international copyright laws, he is not able to sell these for a profit unless he had permission from all of the copyright owners. So in that case, everything is free. That's a great thing. So not only is Mercuzio one of the greatest arrangers, I think, of piano music of this kind, but it's all free. That's really a great thing. And so because of that, I've created a whole new, just this week, I've created a whole new category on the Well-Rounded Pianist devoted to Mercuzio arrangements that I'm going to be looking at from time to time. The first arrangement I'm looking at here is Moon River, one of his most beautiful arrangements. It's also played by Paul Barton. You've probably heard his, he has a couple performances on YouTube. You've probably heard his performances. That's probably how most people know it, since Paul is very popular, and I think one of his performances of this has well over 1 million views as I speak right now. So let's get down to business here and talk about Moon River, arranged by Mercuzio. It's 3 pages long. Go and download it from the link below. You'll have to find it alphabetically because the link brings you to all of his hundreds of other arrangements there that you're able to download as well. Moon River, I would say, in my opinion, I think the best tempo for this is 72 beats per minute per quarter note, 72. So that seems to be around the tempo that it's done in the movie and sung by Audrey Hepburn. I timed it, and I think it's a good musical tempo, 72. So here's how a little bit of it would sound at that speed. rallentando there in measure 18. So I think that's a nice performance speed for it. But when you're learning this, you need to go substantially slower than that. So I would recommend if you're very first learning it and you're not so good at reading the notes, I would suggest at least half speed, if not even less than half speed. And this is what it would sound like at half speed. In fact, if you subscribe to The Well-Rounded Pianist, you can watch my super slow video of it where I play it at half speed from an overhead view. 72 per eighth note would be half speed. So that would be... Playing it at half speed, 72 per eighth note instead of 72 per quarter note, allows you to hear every single note, and it allows you to really hear the pedal changes clearly. It might seem a little muddy sometimes because some of the tones might mix together if you're at half speed, but that's okay because in this kind of music it's better to have it over pedaled than under pedaled. Of course, ideally you want to change the pedal usually at the beginning of the measure for each chord change, and also frequently whenever the quarter notes change. So if quarter note harmonies change, you want to change the pedal with that. Now what I think is nice about this arrangement, and I really honestly don't know if Mancini does this in the original or not, but I like the way that Mercuzio modulates to D major. So I'm going to jump over here to measure 36. I will play with no metronome here. Measure 36. I like this here. He has this nice, in the right hand, it's actually an augmented chord. In the left hand, it has an E flat there, but actually that is technically would be, I believe, a French sixth chord, one of the augmented sixth chords, if you know anything about augmented sixth chords. So it's a very nice transition into D major. So he has this, and then he goes into D major. So now let's see what it sounds like here. I'm going to play a little under speed here in measure 41. Address these chords here, like in measure 42 and 43. You have, or actually in measure 43, you have this chord C sharp, D, A, C sharp. You have to play it all with one hand. So I just leave the D out. Mercuzio obviously has very large hands based on this and also other arrangements I've seen and heard of his. He must have huge hands or something because I can't do it. So I just leave it. You're supposed to play that, but I just play that because the D is can reach it, but it's really hard, so I just leave it out. You know, I don't think it's a big deal. It's one of those color notes. Or if you can somehow get your thumb to play the C sharp and the D, which is, you can do that too. That might be possible, but it's kind of uncomfortable to do that. I'll work with it, you know. It's still a little bit new for me, but I'll work with that and see what I can do with playing both of those notes at the same time. So you can either, if you have really large hands, you can reach your second finger over your thumb and do that. I mean, I can do that, but it's just not very comfortable. Or you put your thumb on those two notes there. So anyway, so we have measure 41 again. Nice chord changes there. Nice, very nice. It's like a 2-5-1. It's like a C sharp half diminished seventh chord there. Going to an F sharp 7 and going to a B minor. It's actually like a B minor sort of with an added sixth. The right hand is a little difficult here. A little clunky if you play it without the pedal, but once you add the pedal, and you can do a little flutter pedaling in there to help so it's not too muddied up with pedal. And there are some times when he says to go down with the right hand here. I like that. This is like in measure 51. I like to play measure 51 with just the left hand. So I can hold the right hand better. I think it sounds clearer that way. Watch your accidentals here. It's still a C natural in measure 52. Measure 52 we're in. Then we have it's very Rachmaninovian. Is that even a word? Rachmaninovian? This arrangement really reminds me of if Rachmaninoff were to make an arrangement of Moon River. This is probably would sound very much like this. I really like Mercuzio's arrangements a lot. Excellent arranger. Excellent. Nice rich chords here. Your pedal there, and then here's another place in measure 57. Measure 57, I think most pianists would do this all with the right hand. I like to do this. And that way you can get a better legato and you can get a better crescendo on that, and it doesn't sound so clunky. It sounds a little clunky if played with just the right hand. then you can, the pedal, you can sort of lighten up the pedal there at the end of the measure. Once again, it's that dissonant chord where you need to play the C sharp and the D. If you can't, just leave it out. Here's an interesting measure here, measure 64. When I first was learning this, I thought it was a mistake, but then I went back and really listened to it carefully. It's interesting what he does here. If you just isolate that, it doesn't sound right. It sounds like a mistake. But if you put it in context, this D resolves to that C sharp. So the middle voice does that. You want to bring the middle voice out. Also, another thing is me being a composer and arranger myself and being well versed in music theory, I would suggest continuing to B. So with all due respect to Mercuzio, I think he's a great arranger, I would still add a B. I would actually change measure 65 to not a B here and a D here in the chord. So measure 65, I would change to that chord here. So it's if you don't do that, if you do what's written here, you have you have like a gap. You don't have that B. So I modify this when I play it. I change the chord slightly in measure 65 because I think that it's best if you have that line going down. And bring it out too in playing it. And pedal, hold the pedal down, pedal, pedal. So the pedal is going to correspond with that middle note there. Now let's go on. There's a nice counterpoint going on there. There's the melody, there's the bass, and there's the inner voice here, and there's the inner voice here. So you have that's a very excellent contrapuntal line there. Excellent contrapuntal measure that Mercuzio has done. And then he continues the counterpoint here. Has this nice half diminished seventh chord on G sharp half diminished seventh. One reason why this sounds a lot like Rachmaninoff is that Rachmaninoff and the Russians, Tchaikovsky and everyone else in that school, loved half diminished seventh chords. It's one of their favorite of all chords. So that you're going to hear a lot in Russian music, and that's why this reminds me of Rachmaninoff when I play it, because it has this nice rich G sharp half diminished chord. Chords where you have to play a half step either with your thumb or you have to reach out if you can. here in measure 73. And Mercuzio puts a line there. That line means that it goes from the tenor A to the alto E. So that tenor jumps up a fifth there. So we have, which means in performance you probably want to bring that out a little bit. And in diminuendos, and there are some places where you have ties, like in measure 75 to 76, this tied half note. You really technically can't really do that unless you have humongous hands, which I don't, and unless you can reach like this with one hand. So that being the case that most pianists can't do that, it's not a big deal if you let go of that E, because the E sort of dissipates in sound anyway. So it's not a big deal if you can't hold that down. Here's another place. Measure 76 is another place where I thought it was a mistake when I first played it. This. Because it doesn't resolve. You have this, and you have this, and then it should, my ear wants to take it back to the C sharp. So what I've done, with all due respect to Mercuzio and his great artistry, I add a C sharp to this, the beat 3 chord in measure 76, so it does this. So I add a C sharp. So what I do is I play the G on beat 3, like it says. Then I just add a C sharp there. So you have that chord. So you have that. That's better than this. Than that. Because it resolves. Once again, here's where it resolves. Then I also like to tie this G. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's a mistake. I don't know. But I like to tie this G in the right hand. Because I think to play it again is sort of redundant. That's all I do. So, and then you have your end. So whenever I work on arrangements, whether it is by Liszt or anybody or Mercuzio, or always listen very carefully. Sometimes I just have to change things just slightly here and there because my ear hears it that way. But that being said, Mercuzio is an absolutely first-rate arranger. I would recommend learning more of his arrangements and going to the Well-Rounded Pianist if you want to learn some of his arrangements with me. I make detailed tutorials, not just like one video tutorial, but this Moon River I devote a full 6 videos to, and then I have also a super slow video on it from an overhead view. So if you want to learn, these arrangements with me on the Well-Rounded Pianist, I invite you to subscribe there, and you know, every week I upload new content, and I'm especially happy now that I discovered all of these great arrangements by Mercuzio that I can really devote my time to, because it's great music and great arrangements. I would suggest you get Moon River and you listen to, I'm about to perform it on YouTube. Listen to my performance, listen to Paul Barton's beautiful performance of it. There's also some other very nice performances on YouTube of it. It's a really popular arrangement, so go and do your duty by listening to it. Download the free sheet music from the link below. And thank you for viewing this video. I'm really excited about bringing some of this Mercuzio arrangement to you, which I think is really first rate. And I wish you all the best in your piano. Thank you for viewing this video.